So I've got Corlia Fourie of Bosman's Family Vineyards. Thank you very much for making the time.
Just a pleasure.
And you brought along two of your wines. You know we're doing the duck dish today. So tell us a little bit more about the wines.
You know what, when you said that you were going to make some duck, I was really excited. It's something that I really enjoy having. And I thought that I would bring a white wine and a red wine. Firstly, the white wine, because not many people know that you can actually have white wine, you know, with something like duck, which isn't your run-of-the-mill, you know, chicken or white meat. You actually do have some red meat in there. But I thought, let's try a white, oaked Chenin Blanc. And on the other hand, I also brought a Cinsault. It's from our wine club selection. And I think Cinsault is such a wonderful new variety that people are looking at. You know, it's an old Cape variety, but winemakers like Ibn Sadi are, you know, putting a spotlight on this old variety and making wonderful wines. And I think in terms of the tannins and the richness of that, that might be very nice with your duck.
So what, let's try, I think the Chenin first.
Yes, let's try the Chenin first. So the Op de Noord, it bears a special name. It was the vineyard planted in 1952. So apparently that makes it the fourth oldest Chenin Blanc vineyard in South Africa. Winemakers have this notion that older vineyards do have something very special about them. So we've been harvesting Chenin Blanc and all of the young vines have been harvested, but this vineyard specifically has not been harvested. It takes such a long time to get to that point where you have, you know, that beautiful ripeness, but when it's there, it's perfect. You know, the analysis is so much different. We have lovely lower pHs, natural acidity, and, you know, just a fruit quality which is quite special.
Let's talk about, Chenin Blanc. I know you've got a special affinity with Chenin Blanc, the variety, and why is that?
Chenin Blanc, you know, is one of those varieties which, when you go overseas and you're a traveling winemaker, everybody asks you about it. You land, you know, at Heathrow, and the first thing anybody would ask is, how's the Chenin doing? And I think, you know, the overseas customers, the writers, they already know that we really have something special going on with Chenin in South Africa. We do make world-class wines when it comes to this variety. So I'm hoping that here in South Africa there'll be a more broader, you know, appreciation for the variety. I think by default we're all looking for, you know, a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc. But in terms of food, Chenin has a fantastic adaptability. You have dry styles, you have sweeter styles. You can see it, you know, as a aperitif in an MCC. And if it's sweet, it's a lovely sweet. So I just think in terms of food friendliness, it's perfect.
I agree. I'm a big Chenin Blanc fan myself. And I'm actually surprised. I think, well, more people that I speak to, they really love the variety as well. And the examples of it that I've seen has been really amazing. So I think it's something we must champion. So let's try the Cinsault.
Cinsault has a warmness, a spiciness, subtle, silky tannins, and in that it makes for a wonderful blending wine. But I think recently we have seen winemakers, you know, delving into the variety itself, making wines, you know, of this variety on its own. And if you're lucky and you've got wonderful old vineyards, you can make wines with obviously a beautiful color, that spiciness, that richness, which is really interesting.
Beautiful. It's not I think most people out there probably don't know Cinsault that well. There's not a lot of examples out there on the market, is there?
No, there's not. But the ones out there, which is made well, are extremely well and really worth trying out.
When I tasted now the Chenin Blanc, I really enjoyed it with a duck dish. When I tasted it with a Cinsault, I also enjoyed it. One definitely goes with it much better, but there's no, for me, the dish, it might come across as quite heavy, but the Chenin Blanc stood up to it quite well, I would say. It's not, I love the nose of the Chenin especially, but I also like the fact that it's not, it's obviously it's a very elegant wine, but it's still got that nice acidity to cut through the sweetness of the duck.
But that's the thing about Chenin, it does have a natural, beautiful acidity. I think what helps a lot in this case is the fact that it was fermented and matured in small French oak barrels. So you do have that little bit of added complexity, almost like a cinnamon note or even a little bit of a clove note to this specifically. And it has a richness and a depth of flavor which matches that quite well. And I think, you know, in terms of doing something like this at home, in our house, I prefer drinking the white wines and my husband the reds. And, you know, and there isn't a right and wrong. So in this case, we would all, you know, the both of us would be happy. You know, me having my Chenin and him having the Cinsault. So, and that's what food and wine is all about that exploring and making up your own mind.
So, Corlia, what do you think of the dish? And I mean, I know which one I prefer. I can easily do both, but I'm going to choose one. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to choose one as well. And it's a difficult one. I think if it was winter and it was really cold, I might even definitely go then for the Cinsault. But in terms of enjoyment for tonight and what we've tasted, it will be the Chenin.
Interesting. Look, for me, I love Chenin and I love this specific one as well. But tonight, I actually, when I had the Chenin in the beginning, I thought, no, that's the one I'm going to choose. But the Cinsault was lovely. You know, it just picked up with that lovely aromas of the duck, and it still could cut through the sweetness, and it was just like almost a perfect marriage for me. So I'm going to go for the Cinsault.
Well, happy match then.
But listen, thank you very much for coming to join me and spending some time with me. Always great to see you, and I wish you all the best with the harvest, and I'm looking forward to the new vintage.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Corlia.
Cheers.
Cheers.